Hey there, this is Marisa with Marisa Moments. So ancestral energy here, that means I'm shooting straight from the hip. What I receive is that we need to say F fear, right? So true story, right? I hadn't driven in like years, essentially. I want to say 5, but I'm not exactly sure and I don't want to lie, right? But it had been some years. And then I was intimidated by our vehicle. I just didn't feel safe. I didn't feel comfortable or confident. And then one day I just said, okay, I'm going to drive today. I said F it to my fears in that moment. Did I feel comfortable? Did I feel extremely confident? No, I didn't, but I did it anyway. Yesterday, well, time isn't real, so this depended on when I post this, right? But the other day, let's say, I had to drive on the highway. Now, I know I keep talking about driving because that's just an easy illustration, right? But the reality is I had to drive on the highway for the first time. I've been doing local driving and it's been fine for the most part and with very little apprehension or anxiety. So I went on the highway and I was fine. I said, okay, let's do this. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you and the reason why Spirit is bringing this into my awareness right now is because, again, we have to say F fears because fear isn't real. It's a liar. It's a straight up bold-faced liar that prevents us from being able to expand our horizons or being able to step outside of our comfort zone for fear of success, essentially, right? Because we always think about what's the worst that can happen, but how about we flip that and think about what's the best that can happen, right? So what circumstances are you allowing fear to take the reins? You're giving fear all of this power. We're giving fear all of this power because it's not just a you thing. It's not just a me thing. It's a we thing, right? So what are we giving our power away to as it relates to fear? Now, for me in this illustration, of course, it was driving. And you know what I did? I chewed it up and I digested it and let it come out in a different way, shape, and form, right? Now that was very TMI explicit, right? But the reason I have to give these major illustrations is because you have to understand that we are, in fact, creating our own realities just based off of our perceptions. And 9 times out of 10, those perceptions are false. They're based off of false narratives based behind generational trauma and or programming. That, again, is not real. Or even if it was real, note the word was, it no longer applies. We're not doing the same things that we did 500 years ago or 20 years ago. And if we are, then it's time to level up and remind ourselves that fear is not real.